Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Battle Angel Alita, Holy Knight and Other Stories, and Ashen Victor, which I might do first. So thank you very much to Flavio Santamarena for telling me that I missed a bunch of Battle Angel Alita materials. Or not that I missed them as much as they just, like, none of them were included with the official release I read so far. Apparently they are scanlation only, and I'm kind of excited for that because I haven't really read any of the Alita scanlations. I haven't been involved in the Alita community at all, really. There is a Facebook group that I'm a part of, which will be in the description. But apart from that, and even there, I don't post very much because I don't want to accidentally get spoiled. So Holy Knight and Other Stories is getting an official release. However, not only is it coming out at the end of October, but everywhere I've looked only allows you to pre-order the hardcover version. They don't mention anything about an EPUB version or about a digital version, which leads me to believe that it's going to be hardcover only for, at least for a few months, and then eventually they might put out a digital version. So I won't be able to read it on the channel even if I wait. So I may as well just not. I may as well just jump into it normally. Oh boy. Oh, by the way, incidentally, I did in fact take that two-page spread that I loved so much of Alita and Zex, and I used it as my background. It's really nice. One of my big problems with a lot of manga backgrounds is that the shots that look really cool tend to be the ones with a bunch of stuff going on. And if there's too much going on, it really hurts my eyes. I can't use it as a background because if I need to just get rid of everything and just calm down for a few moments, it's still overwhelming. But this is such a good... it's so good because it's so simple. It's just Alita, then just Zex, then mini Zex up here. And it just... it looks so good. And if I, look at any of my folders or anything, it doesn't, it's not bothersome. Anyways, I just wanted to say that. So, let's get right into Ashen Victor. I know nothing about this. I did read the cover, which says Motorball Diaries from the World of Battle Angel Alita, which makes me think that it's not going to be an Alita story as much as, it's just a story that happens to take place in the world of Alita, which is quite exciting. I'm sure this is a description, but I haven't read it yet. Very, actually, I won't say anything about the art style just yet, because this might just be for the first few pages. Oh boy, alright, race 1, the open pathway. Oh, this is actually the, yeah, it's the cover. But it's flipped. That's, yeah. How odd. How odd. Oh, I just realized. Okay, if I took this and I folded it, it would be flipped. It would be left to right. Okay. Because I kind of forgot this, but a lot of his releases used to do that. They used to flip the manga around so it was read left to right, so it'd be easier for Western audiences to read it. So this would still work, but I feel yeah, the panels themselves were also flipped. So while all this works, I'm sure I'll run into something where it won't work. So let me quickly flip that around again before I mess myself up. I'm really glad I managed to catch that though. Okay, that's same. Oh, I have to read from left to right too. Oh boy, this might be more crashes than any other motorballer, but his brain still isn't leaking a drop of blood. Also, the contrast between the styles is really cool because neither of these are the style of Alita. If I had to describe it, they're both 90s styles is the thing. They both feel like 90s comic books. But this is much closer to, oh, what am I thinking of? I'm trying to think of a series that had a very sort of, photorealistic style, to the point where the photorealism was kind of gross or kind of plasticky. Whereas this is, it's very dark, very shaded, lots of inky blacks. It reminds me a lot of, Frank Miller. But what does this remind me of? Well, we'll get to it later. I guess maybe, is it Alex Ross? Yeah, the guy who drew Kingdom Come. Yes, Alex Ross. Because, if you look at this shot, for instance, it's kind of got that. I guess his style is more waxy than photorealistic, but there is, that very sort of, all the shading and all the lighting is very realistic. It's very human. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Especially with this shot of his head. The way he moved during his tryouts. What if he's crashed a few dozen times? Okay, he hasn't finished one race. So he's real good, and he keeps on not dying. But he hasn't ever finished a race without, like, falling apart. Oh, yeah. Motorball isn't the sport anymore. The audience comes for the violence. So I assume this is a prequel to Alita. And in that case, I could definitely see this. Because as we saw in that world, or, like, in the Motorball of the first series, it was pretty brutal. Like, that final fight against Jashigan wasn't even a match. It was just a fight. Like, after the teams were just one person to one person, the ball didn't matter anymore. It was just, well, someone's got to beat someone else up. Also, I really like him now. Snev looks a lot like Morpheus, actually, from Sandman. Especially with the hair. Like, the fact that it's such a simple hair. But then when it dips into the black, it's, like, outlined in white, so it's easy to see. Like, something about that reminds me of... it's so clear. Alright, so I guess he's not playing Motorball anymore, which is a problem for Motorball Diaries. Yeah, so this is your typical Motorballer. Someone who is, like, based around speed and power. And in hindsight, actually, I feel like Snev's way of, like, fighting without speed and power would actually be a lot better for, like, cheap playing. Because I imagine this suit has to take a lot of money to maintain. Like, he has to win or else they just can't field him anymore. Okay. Like, injected nitro straight into my brain. Right, we did see this before. The idea of people, like, doping in order to, like, so that they could, like, get more out of their mechanical parts. All carnage and no skill. Did the arena always have Motorball written on it? Maybe it did. I mean, it's also just kind of a cool metaphorical shot of him walking away from Motorball, like, quite literally. On the contrast shot here, that looks, it's so 90s. It really is. I find it so strange that I haven't said it's so 90s to, like, any other part of Alita, even the parts that were written in the 90s. I guess it's because I'm more familiar with 90s comic books as opposed to, like, I've read some 90s manga, but I haven't read a lot of, like, serious 90s manga. Like, I mean, maybe Devilman? No, even Devilman was, like, 80s, right? I'll get off that tangent. But just, I can't get over how very Western this feels. It does not feel like manga. And I mean that in the best way possible. Okay, so who's this? And it looks like there's either a bodyguard or, like, just someone hanging out there, like maybe a cult member? From, you know, just judging by the cloak. That is a very macho line. Oh boy, okay, this guy's real macho. Oh, okay, so she's a lady of the night, I assume. Maybe. I mean, that's the implication here. But it could be something else. Whenever I start getting ahead, he shows up. Okay. It becomes pure pleasure to have my body break apart, scatter. So, is it like masochism of some sort? Like, I'm not saying necessarily sexual, but like, he enjoys that feeling of being destroyed. And that's why you can never make it through the entire game. You see some kind of demon while you're racing, but the cards are unscientific. True, that's a bit much. You'll be back racing on the Motorball circuit, Snev. From a meta perspective, I feel like he has to. So, I'm wondering if the cards actually do work in the world of Alita. I mean, there's been a lot of pseudoscience and other such things that have been proven to be real within the confines of the series, so... I mean, are the cards, like, silly? Are they unscientific? Who knows? You were born to victory. You've just forgotten it, that's all. Okay. 90125. Okay, that seems like that could be his, like, jersey number of some sorts. I don't remember if they had jersey numbers. I think they did, but I don't think they were, like, 5-digit numbers. Yeah, because, wasn't Jashigan 00? Yeah, so they had to have had numbers, but they definitely didn't go up to five digits. Oh, this bar scene looks so cool. Does this person have, like, a bird head? I guess it's also the fact that I'm reading it from left to right that is making it feel extra Western. But, I mean, the art style definitely, like, the art style is like 9/10 of it. And then the direction might be like 1/10 of it. It might be just like a minor factor. But the vast majority of this incredible 90s nostalgia feel that I'm feeling right now is definitely related to the art. I think the thing that blows my mind is also it's very indie. Like, it's not like 90s superhero art. It's very much like 90s Sandman, 90s, like, Vertigo comics. It's very inky and dark and kind of gothic, but like techno-gothic. So it seems like Mr. Holmgold, or Mr. Holmgalud, I'm not sure how I would pronounce that, but it seems like he's pretty forgiving, honestly. Or if not forgiving, at the very least, he does seem to care about Snev to some extent. Ooh, that's a big suit. Or a big body. Was that when a person got on a track? Oh, okay. So it's not just like, it's not some sort of internal impulse in his body. Or it's not like something his brain created out of whole cloth. This is someone he actually saw. And Snev, you... Oh my god, okay. That explains the trauma. That is deeply explanatory. Even the guts and viscera feel very 90s comic as opposed to 90s manga. Like, when I think about 90s manga and OVAs that feature gore, I think of like very realistic gore. Or very like highly detailed blood and gore. Because of the bubble economy. And also because a lot of mangaka who draw gore are like, very detailed when it comes to it. And we've seen that, I keep forgetting his name, but the mangaka of Battle Angel Alita is very capable of drawing like photorealistic body parts or organs or any such things. Whereas this is like, it's still very clear, like, okay, that's a spine, that's another part of the spine. Actually, that could be brain matter. And like, that's a hand, that's an arm. Like, it's clear, it's distinct as to what all these things are supposed to be, and you can see like tendons and whatnots, but they're kind of low detail. And I always associate that with like late 80s, early 90s, like Western comics trying to be extra gory, but like trying not to like be so gory that's disgusting, or like staying within the confines of the amount of detail they have the ability to print. Oh man, it's so bizarre feeling nostalgia for something I've never seen. Like, I've never seen the shot, but it makes me feel deeply nostalgic. Alright, Race 2, Self-Destruct. By the way, that is, like, now that I know that was the end of the chapter, that is one heck of a way to end the chapter. Like, you start off the chapter with this weird question of, like, okay, so why is he failing? Why is he so, like, weird at motorballing? And then you end it with the clear reason, like, blasted into his face and yours. Here there, Crash King. Just make it a spectacular crash. Oh, I immediately started reading right to left again. So, is he going to have to throw the match this time? It may be an old body, but I've tuned your legs good. Got my word on it. Oh my god, that is such a good page. Run, let your spastic eyes fill with fear. Feed, taste the chaos of breaking bones and grinding metal. You know you want it, the adrenaline. Pump me up, give me dopamine. Oh my gosh. Like, the very dark, messy style of this is so, Okay. The audience are monitoring seats for the experience of a crash and the so-called thrill of victory. I call them crashers. I forgot about that. I forgot that one of the things that happened, like, one of the big things they pointed out in the Motorball arc was that, like, you can spectate as one of the racers. And specifically, like, you can even get, like, a full VR setup. And so that makes sense, of course. And right, so if they have Snev and they have Dolaganov, then they can still be competitive. Like, they can still try to get that main prize. But then they can, like, get the side income from Snev continuously crashing. So I feel like at some point we have to have the arc of him getting over his fears and no longer wanting to crash. And then as a result, like, he pisses off everyone else who wants him to crash. Like, it goes from him seeking destruction and the world kind of like almost warping itself to fit him, like, his desire. Like, the world itself created this job where he will be able to fill it. And now we're reversing it. Now we're saying that no, he can't anymore. Anyways, I'm getting way too ahead of myself. So let's back up for a bit. Let's get back into the actual story. I'm the best, everyone else is crap. I mean, you can't say he's not honest. Ooh. Okay. Also, did they not tell him? Did they actually not tell him before they started running the promos? Crash King Snev returns to Motorball. The storm of self-destruction is back on the circuits. Yeah, he just didn't know. They didn't tell him. From now on, I race to win. Actually, I feel like for the middle part of the series, this is actually a bonus. because now he can race to win. Like, he can genuinely give it his all, and if he screws up, then it doesn't matter because everyone still gets what they wanted. I mean, she was right. Yeah, the audience is here to see him crash. All right, do you copy? Crash and burn. Oh boy, what does this entail? Like, judging by the blood, I would assume a murder, but what else could it be? It could be an organ stealer. Like, if she has really nice organs, they could have come to, like, take her spine or take some of her other such organs. Honestly, I think that would make more sense than just a random killing, because the body's not here either. Oh, geez. Some kind of psycho perverts. Oh, poor Marvin. He's dead, too. Like, it's not just like his head was torn off. He's actually dead. Oh, that sucks. That's actually awful, especially because, like, she wasn't wrong. She did know that he would step in to save her if need be, but just it wasn't enough. Where does the story go from here? Because I imagine it's got to be, like, the Motorball story in tandem with finding the killer. Or is it just going to knock him off of his game? Ooh, Marathon Man, I know every iota of your suffering. This is not the world you would have chosen, but there are better worlds. Oh, yes. Oh my god, that is so cool. Like, seeing Marathon Man in tandem with Snev. And then he overtakes him just for brief moments. Okay. A brand new Snuffer flick. Is he going to buy it? He's got the money, right? And that could be her. This could be proof. Okay. What in the world? This is such a beautiful shot. Like, I know I keep referencing Western comics, but this feels absolutely like, maybe not Sin City, but maybe Sin City, actually. Because you do have this, like, this combination of vices and someone who does not like that vice. Someone who isn't in it for the snuff, but who is buying the snuff film anyways. And, like, the numbers are still on his hand, still highlighted here. We have all the sex and the plugins and other such, like, just bright, vivid advertisements. And then this person just killing the kid. Like, this... I mean, I guess if we didn't have the lines here, I would love to use this for something. Like, this would be a good advertisement, actually. Like, I could definitely see this as a poster, like, just put up somewhere in, like, a seedy alleyway. Sorry, I'll get back on track. They're just clapping for it, too. What a bizarre situation. Oh, did he not? Did he not buy it? Okay, never mind. I guess he didn't. If I don't control it, I'll be killed. Wow, what a... Okay, so this is... Oh, wow. It's so visceral. Like, you can see his muscle fibers just shattering. His brain just, like... not his brain, but, like, his skull blasting open. His brain spilling out of it. Like, it feels like he's being torn apart. Yeah, I can see how this could lead to him getting some, like... These could be some of the most spectacular crashes of his life, because he's got a big reason to want to self-destruct. For one moment, this is the truth, no doubts. You are born for this purpose, and this purpose alone. Oh no! He could still die here! I really like that, too, because it shows that, yeah, he doesn't like him, but he's not going to kill him at the same time. Okay. What are they... Like, because they seem completely fine with having him, like, smash himself over and over again, so either he's missing an important part, or did they lose the money? Or something, maybe something that relates to him being able to broadcast up to the spectator seats. That briefcase, never mind. The tests of Adam that we've been running on Snev are nearing completion, I should say. Okay. So, they've been testing something out on Snev, which I have to assume is tied into, like, his crashing. Is it a drug that, like, prompts suicidal thoughts, perhaps? Okay, this is a different level than I expected. Like, when they brought up the Oxel before, I figured that was just completely random. Or not random, but that was just world building. You know, it's something we saw kind of before. It would make sense that, like, without Destiny over there to do, like, complicated brain operations that you would use a weaker drug to get the same or like a similar effect. But, oh, is this one of her friends then? Perhaps? No one gives a damn if a prostitute gets killed. I mean, we just straight up saw a kid on the street getting killed, so this is one hell of a city. They didn't steal my chips. So I have to assume this is relating to the whole briefcase thing. Like, maybe they didn't steal anything, but they were just looking to see if he had it. I can't imagine this frame is very good at fighting. Which is yet another interesting thing about this series. Like, one of the big things about Alita is that even if Alita's not in the fight, in general, there is someone in every single arc that is really good at fighting. Or every single chapter, I should say. Like, there's not always a fight, but usually there's a fight within a couple chapters, and everyone who fights is good at fighting. So it's quite different to see Snev, like, not being able to fight. Rather, like, his main trait is that he is easily destroyed. Oh, the number! Okay, so perhaps the briefcase has a lock on it, and she knew the answer somehow. Like, whether it was, like, she actually knew about it, and she was writing it down as, like, like, as an excuse, or whether she really did have some level of psychic power, and so she was able to do that just by plucking it out of thin air. Alright, please, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Also, very small thing, I love this panel. Anytime a creator does something like this, where there is a panel, but then that panel itself is, like, mostly blacked out or mostly whited out, or something of that effect is used to limit the space. I love it. It looks so cool. Beretta asked me to do something for her, so I was looking for you. This is interesting, because we know very little about her at all. We only really met her once within the perspective of the series, so what kind of wounds did she keep inside? Pretty sure he'll help. Yeah, he's like the best guy we've got right now. Like, he's the one true friend I think Snev has. Okay, those boys McGill have been working with the team coach and doctor. Right. And they haven't been hiding the XL at all. Like, clearly Dolganov wants that. But the Atom, that's completely a mystery. What Atom does, though, is a mystery. Is it a painkiller, perhaps? Because, like, he keeps on destroying himself, and we've never seen, like, a negative effect of it. It seems like every single time he doesn't care at all. So it's got to be something that, like, affects him at the very least. Like, something that makes his destruction, like, either it protects his brain, or it just allows him to be destroyed more easily and more spectacularly. Because, again, I just realized, one of the big main themes of this has been that, why can I never remember the name of the sport? Motorball, that's it. Like, Motorball has been getting more violent and more vicious, and people like to see the contestants get destroyed. So if they can combine that with normal Motorball, like if all the big buff guys can also be destroyed constantly without dying and without being traumatized, then that'd be a great combination. This is also very 90s. The idea of this character who seems like he should just, like, off himself. That sounds very callous, but, like, I've seen a lot of, like, indie comics that have gone that route of someone who feels nigh suicidal, who then just has more and more, like, crazy stuff piled upon his plates. Just worse and worse things, until eventually there's, like, a breaking point where he just either he completely snaps, or, like, there's too much and he has to change. I guess I've read some manga that does that, but it's very rare compared to the number of comics I've read that have done that. If anything should happen to me, take Snev to the rental lockers at 510 block. Ooh, okay, she had the suitcase. Yeah, he doesn't need the hand for this. Oh, but so they got there at the same time. Oh, jeez. Come on, get out of there. I mean, one bonus we know is that, like, if Snev loses his arm, it's not that big of a deal, because he's a cyborg, and also because he's used to being destroyed. Free your pain, bring it out. Okay, so he's fighting out of pure desperation now. Oh, this face. The energy in this face, like, just in every shot of him here is actually so good. Like, this one, I guess this is an exception, but for all the others, you have that, like, that blur effect, that like sketchy movements. It looks so good. Like, it's such a good way to show his mental state right now. All right. And yeah, that's with the arm that was broken. So just with the stump, he managed to gore his head. Like, I don't know how else I would say that. Gore his head. That's basically it. He just stuck his stump into the gore and smashed his brains out. Ah. My God. All right, race 4, Ashes to Ashes. You know, I haven't really speculated on the concept of, like, Ashen Victor. Like, why is the series called Ashen Victor? But now I kind of get it. Like, he is the victor because he consistently destroys himself. Or rather, he is the person who wins by self-destruction. Oh, what a way to start this off. Decide of what is to become Crash King Snev's final race. Is it the final one because he dies here? Or is it the final one because he quits Motorball? In either way, like, in either case, this has been a sports manga like no other. It really has been. Right. You probably won't get paid for this race. Everyone ditched him. All right. Both of our racers are still here. Oh, wow. Like, this could just be a bad scan because it does seem like this was physically scanned. Like, it wasn't a digital thing or like an official digital thing. But I want to believe it isn't. I want to believe that I want to believe that the super lack of detail here is all legitimate because it does look really good. Like, this shot where everything's super washed out with the lights. This shot, yeah, like, it's all so washed out compared to the rest of the series. Like, I feel like it has to be intentional, right? If you own Ashen Victor, I feel so weird asking things of my audience now, but if you own Ashen Victor, let me know, especially for pages 106 to 107 here. Like, do the pages look like this? Are they this washed out? Because I'm seeing like little bits of detail here that would indicate that it shouldn't be this washed out, that it is like the scanning process. Like, that doesn't seem intentional. It feels like the mangaka would have just like completely left this blank, as opposed to having just a few little dots there. Or same with her hair here. But I feel like it should be intentional because it does look really good. This is the danger of being into like obscure art. Is like it's hard to tell whether like is the art damaged or is it just like this. All right, how is he going to win? Like, we could go the route of he destroys himself while winning at the same time. He just destroys himself again to show that he can't escape his fate, or he genuinely just wins without crashing. Adam, the one that in the proper concentration can make the nervous system shift down. We gave that to Snev. Shift down. You self-destructed like you were possessed. Oh, I didn't even consider that. But yeah, like, they said at the very start, he is a rare talent. Like, he is incredibly good. Like, from his audition at the very least, he was genuinely really great. And this explains it now. It was because they kept on dosing him. That's why he couldn't win. Like, that's why he became the self-destructive person. Oh, that's so clever. Ooh, the owner wanted you back anyway. Oh, wow, that's incredible. Like, she did that because she cared about him. And in the same way, like, it didn't matter in the end. She died for basically no reason. Like, when it comes to her own goals, at the very least, she died for no reason, quote unquote. Yeah, Snev's not the kind of guy who would punch him, but oh my god. I love these two already. I don't think they appeared in Alita, but they definitely could have just shown up in the background at some point. I might have never noticed. This is, like, this also, assuming this is a prequel, which I think it is, this is a really cool way to have him, like, in a very abstract way, save Alita. Like, because they put in the, because they gave the sponsors the Atom, and because, presumably, they won't be able to use Atom anymore, it means at no point could Alita have been dosed with Atom. Like, the races she played in were never rigged because of this. All right. Let's see how this goes. Kind of scared. Your hallucination caused by Atom. Right, even if the drugs aren't there, like, it's still psychological. It's still this thing that is baked into his brain. It's not something you can get rid of that easily. Oh my god, the ball itself is talking to him. Do not fear the ashes, for you were born to victory. Talk about casting pearls before swine. Come on, come on. This is so cool. Like, he's really gone from the very bottom to the very top. Everyone's like, no one's seen what he can truly do ever since those auditions, which like the general public didn't get to see. Come on, he can do it. I guess these are all like scenes of destruction in their own way. Like her murder, that guy's head being destroyed, the kid who was then like, killed just so callously. I guess this would just be the Axel, and then a shot of the brain being affected by Axel, or I guess it could be his brain affected by Adam in the past. And then just see, I can't imagine it's a bad scan job because the screen tone here in these rays, it looks perfect. Like, it looks exactly the way I would expect the screen tone to look. So I think this just has to be the way it's meant to be. He just broke the 28-year course record by 5 whole seconds. Come on. You gotta leave it all behind. You gotta break right through him. Oh, wow. That is a really cool shot. Like, that is so deeply striking. This feels like it could be a great wallpaper. So this is what it's like to crash. It feels good. After all this time of looking down on him, he finally gets it. He finally gets the thrill of destruction. And Snev crosses the goal. After the race, the victor is greeted by a storm of angry boos. Because, yeah, everyone who paid for his seats didn't get to see a crash. Everyone who bet on, like, literally anyone else just failed. Oh boy, I really hope his mechanic bet on him. He could be a millionaire. The unwanted victor, Crash King Snev. Total races 19, victories 1. The day's winnings are estimated at 685,200 chips. Oh my god. Oh, that's so smart. Did we hear about brains before? I don't think so. I think I'm mixing that up with the reference to brain death in the which arc was that? Where there was a bunch of brain deaths? I guess maybe the spine arc? No, the point of the spine arc was that he just stole the spines. It doesn't matter. That's really cool though. Like, they didn't demonize Doliganov at the end. Like, even here, even after feeling, like, understanding what it's like to crash, like, he was still overall a powerful victor. Like, of nearly 300 races, he won 2 out of 3. I mean, that's actually a higher ratio because it wasn't 300. No one knows what became of Snev after this, his last race. Finish. Is that it? Yes, that's actually it. It just ends with a tiny little finish. Oh my god. Alright, so that was Ashen Victor. That was absolutely fantastic. It didn't really feel like Alita, but I mean that in the best way possible. Like, even the, like, how do I put this? Even the vampire arc of Last Order felt like Alita, whereas this was distinctly different, but in a good way. It felt very much, if you didn't get the hint, it felt like a 90s comic. But because of that, like, it showed, I keep forgetting his name. Is it Kishiro? Kishimoto? I need to look this up now because I can't believe I've read so much of Alita without knowing his name. Yukito Kishiro. That's it. Like, it shows just his incredible range and the fact that he was able to tell such a dark, brooding indie story. Like, this absolutely would have, like, this would have fit in basically any of the Vertigo imprints back in the 90s. I can't get over that. I can't get over how good it was. And the art, despite being, like, very, like, dark and broody and messy at times, it always felt intentional. Even if I did keep on mentioning, like, oh, is this intentional? I'm sure it was now at this point. I feel like it has to be. Like, all the screen tone is still there. You don't have that, like, blurry differentiation line that you sometimes have, like, between screen tone and pure whites when the scan itself is bad. Like, it is very crisp. And when it's intentionally whited out, it looks intentionally whited out. So I feel like that's got to be intentional. But just the entire thing was so good. It was genuinely a great Motorball story. I can't get over it. I don't really want to say much else about it because there's not a whole lot I can expand upon. Just I kind of hope that we get to see a little more of Snev, but if we don't, that's fine. Like, it's really fitting that his story ends with him getting a victory that no one wanted for him. He was the Ashen victor, and then no one knows what happened after that. Like, it would feel a bit like a cheat if we, the audience, learned what happened to him after that, after they said no one knows. So I guess I don't want him to come back, but like I liked him so much that I desperately would like to see more of him. But I know that it's better if we don't. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. In this unique miniseries, adopting a dark style reminiscent to Frank Miller, Battle Angel leader creator Yukito Kishiro reveals a whole new facet of his talents. First of all, I like that I had to go find his name when it was here and also here. And also, I do appreciate that Viz tried to promote it by like making that connection to Frank Miller, because it was very Miller-esque. Early Miller, I should say, not current Miller. His current art is kind of strange. It's worrisome. I hope he's doing okay. Anyways, so that was Ashen Victor. I guess we should just keep on going. I believe these are all like one-chapter stories, so there's no reason not to. I won't be watching whatever this motorball thing is, because it was included in the links that Flavio sent me. I have to assume it's official, and if it's official, I don't want to risk a copyright strike. You'd be surprised how easy it is to get one, and I'm already on one right now, so I don't want to get to 2. Once you're at 2, then it's scary to post anything. So let's do another story, Bashaku Ando. I have no idea what that means. And then I don't believe that's the that Holy Knight and Other Stories included the Guncyclopedia, but I guess we'll look at that too. Okay, so whoa. So we're delving right back into this. Okay. So when does this take? I guess this has to take place during the original series, right? Because Den is definitely dead at the end of his arc. Master Den is still alive. Also, Koyomi looks amazing here, like genuinely amazing. I guess this had to have been drawn during Last Order, because the difference between Last Order and the original series isn't that big when it comes to the art, but I feel like there is a distinct difference, especially with the color pages I've seen. Like, this feels very much like the Last Order covers, I should say. It's much more like multifaceted, and the colors are so rich. I guess this must have run in a magazine, but that's kind of surprising because, again, the colors are very vivid. It feels like it was a digital release. Oh, by the way, thank you to Ripper's Anime Translation for doing this, and I assume the extra stories here. I've heard very good things about your translations, so let's see. All right, so none of these will work, right? My timing here is impeccable. Also, I like that she calls herself Koyomi of Kansas. Like, that is a very different implication from what she actually means by Koyomi of Kansas. At least take one of my photos. Right, yeah. We don't play childish games here. If you want to survive in this profession... No, Koyomi, no, this isn't okay. You're 14. I do like that he immediately rejects it, though. Okay, the key is whether or not you can be a pro. Be competent in any situation. Alright, that's a really interesting thing to have her story be about. Because, like, even in the main series, she was never much of a professional. She was very childlike in the fact that she immediately decided to follow Barjack. Like, even if she did mature a bit, it was still, like, she still felt, like, underdeveloped. The once dead Den is a legend risen again. Okay. So what could this be? I mean, as long as Kaos is around, and we know he is, I guess Den could come back, right? Theoretically. Like, even if he's, like, a memory that is being manifested again by his abilities. That is so unnecessary. Also, is this the same? I guess, like, it looks the same, but the teeth aren't there. But I can't tell if the teeth are supposed to be a goof or not. I really like the shading in this. Ooh, in the days of our defeat, we owe much to this photograph of yours for boasting our spirits. Or, boasting our spirits. Like, should that be boosting, or does he mean like boasting as in like it's spread around our spirits? Right, it is a theory though. Like it does make sense. I can't disprove it. I feel like it can't be Den really being alive, but it's possible. Fact is, he once made a consecutive appearance on 2 different battlefields several hundred kilometers apart. It's not likely a matter of speed. Okay. I mean, this is technically true. The samurai form was just a shell. Not in the way they're saying it, but it is true, so maybe there is a backup body. Or maybe, yeah, that's possible. Once again, seriously, I loved the various shots we had of Den and Koyomi because they're such a good pair. Like, she's so small and he's so incredibly large. Just artistically, it looks so good. I mean, this in itself is a fantastic shot. Okay. Well, that's Den alright, or at least that's his body. It looks like it. But is that his mind, actually? Like, it makes a lot more sense if he had multiple bodies, and he was able to, like, switch from body to body using Chaos as an intermediary. But it makes more sense for it to just be some other AI, or, like, some other brain inside of this, as opposed to him coming back. Okay, and this is the color page then. So, like, here, like, yeah, this would be the color pages here. Yeah, because that's the same car on fire. Master Den? Okay. Now I get where everything is. Your brain will go Goro and leak out. Oh no, please don't. That was very fast. Okay, it's a dog. I really like this shot because it is recognizable as a dog once you know what it is, but just in the moment, it looks very strange and alien, and it does capture the feeling of being upside down and having a dog lick your face. That is a very strange sensation. Okay. Alright, get a Polaroid. Day 1 ends in total defeat. Okay, so she isn't just leaving. This is really cool. It's sort of like the various arcs where Alita finds someone else to learn something from. Except because Koyomi's not a combatant, instead she's learning how to photograph better. Right, whether I get one or not, it doesn't matter one bit. Ah, poor Koyomi. Alright, so he also used to follow Den. The fact that there's so many people here makes me think it cannot be Den. It can't be. It has to be someone else using the body. Like, at this point, because there's so many people still around, I feel like the Barjack Rebellion will just come back to life if he's really there. And if that happened, I feel like it would have shown up already in Last Order. Or, like, we would have heard some, like, little message, like, maybe not, actually, maybe not. Because I keep forgetting that it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, Barjack got taken down very quickly once Teferiz got serious. Wait, what? Okay. So these guys are using it. He was blackmailing us, so we had him purged. Yeah, that's pretty true. Like, if you want to misuse it, you could absolutely gain a massive amount of power. They're not thinking big enough, actually. Like, they're thinking of one kind of sham, but if they were able to take control of Barjack, like, that would be so much bigger. Okay, so they are doing it. Like, they weren't doing it at first, but now that it's happening, they've decided to pivot. And now they're going to be like a garbage Barjack. A Barjack that just, like, gets money. New Barjack again. Gather in the Farm 3. Hey, it's Vector again. Oh, it's been a while. And yeah, of course, Chaos of all people would know that it's not Barjack. Okay. That's actually really cool. Master Den would never use the word let's. Act more fear, stop bowing your head. That's true. Like, I can't imagine she's going to truly go along with it, but at the very least, she's doing it to keep herself alive. Or maybe not. Okay, never mind. I thought that she would be a bit too messed up about faking Den. But, okay, if she's willing to do this, that's a new facet of her I didn't really think about. That she would be willing to become the new Den. Or to permit the new Den to rise up. She's still conflicted over it then. If they find out about us, they'll gut us like animals. Actually, this would be a good way for Koyomi to take control now. If she just says, as Den, these people are trying to skew things the wrong way, please kill them. And then she could be the new leader of Barjack. Ooh, okay. I don't, because she's been so conflicted over it, I don't know if it'll really happen or not. Let's see what she does. 2 dens? Okay. Okay. Not what I expected. And I assume this is the original one, so they wouldn't have made a second one, right? So was there really another den out there, like, doing stuff? Allow me to break the oath and assume your identity once again, Master Den. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. So so it wasn't that Den himself was, like, jumping between battlefields. It's that this guy was the other Den. Oh, that's real neat. So, like, if we're going with the samurai theme, then he was the Kagemusha. You know, the one who pretends to be the king or the emperor when times are dangerous. Or I guess the shogun, actually. Like, it's usually a shogun thing and not, like, the emperor. But I guess the emperor would have had a Kagemusha at some points. This is the code of the ninja. Okay, not the samurai. Okay. That's a really cool way of twisting it. Like, Den himself would have never said that. But that's that's really cool. Like, just do something to burn out everyone's adrenaline, to, like, get rid of all that pent up testosterone, and then say, all right, so that's your destruction. That's it. Now go fix the tower. Like, do something constructive. If there's nothing worth believing in, then believe in yourself. If you can't even do that, the only thing would be to find a trusty job. Ah, one final shot of him. Okay, that was really good. That was probably the best way to, quote-unquote, revive Barjack. Like, there was mystery, there was suspense, there was action. And in the end, we can assume that the rebellion is going to work on the tower. I really hope we get to see it in Last Order now. Because, wow. That was very satisfying. I also really liked that Koyomi got some development. And we got to see, like, the less moral side of her. Like, I mean, she's always had that side. But to think that she was going along with the plan to that extent, it was really cool. In general, she's not a character I like very much because we didn't get to see a whole lot of her. Like, one of the things that made me really like her was the non-canon final 3 chapters of the original series. And of course, that got rolled back. But I think I'm starting to like her again. Like, she is a very interesting, complex character. It's really cool to see someone who is just living out there in the in the scrapyard again. All right. So moving on. Next we have, I guess this is the Guncyclopedia. This must have come out, like, right after the final volume, because this is the cover of the final volume. Okay, it's not translated, so I guess I won't really, like, pay that much attention to it. It is neat that the angel thing was written out in English in the Japanese version repeatedly. For volume 2, Iron Maiden, then Killing Angel. Seeing all these sketches looks really good. Like, it's so cool. It's such a cool experience. And yeah, so I guess the Motorball Arena did always say Motorball on it, like that. This shot, this was so cool. Like, this still might be one of my favorite endings to any volume of Alita. Like, just them freaking out and laughing as they're surrounded with rain and falling fish. Alright, I didn't say very much about that, so I might cut it out, or I might just, like, leave in one thing that I said. Anyways, moving along, next is... alright, so this is the Volume 1 extra story, I assume. It's from the French edition, too. That's cool. This is also art I haven't seen anywhere else before. So I'm wondering if this was drawn by Kishiro, or if this is, like, if this was done uniquely. Because it's very CG. It's intensely CG, actually, now that I look at it with clear eyes. In hindsight, actually, oh boy, that's... To be fair, he is supposed to look ugly, though, so I guess that makes sense, but... Did we see this in the Kodansha release? I think so. I think I recall this being the origin of Cylinder number 10. Oh, that's real interesting. Okay, so in the comments of one of my more recent videos, it was noted that the usual dating system of the series, as of Last Order at the very least, is based around the launch of Sputnik. So I kind of tried to cram this in here. Like, I assumed maybe it was, like, before Sputnik, but you don't use the K of Sputnik, so Then I read this, the idea that the birth of Koyomi is a reference. Okay, so I guess the Sputnik thing wasn't in play at the time. Also, I didn't consider this, but I guess the Scanlations might have called her Galley this entire time. It's so cool that we get to see the actual cat Galley, though, because we didn't really get to see her before, because, you know, for obvious reasons, she died. It's a Christmas tree that I've decorated with a few bells. Aw, it's so cute. Like, I've always really liked the idea of a tiny Christmas tree. My family has one tree that we've had ever since, like, before I was born. And it's looking real weathered right now, but I don't know if I want to get another big one or if I want to scale down next time. The big one does have its own charm to it, but I like the idea of a small one for, like, a small house. Who's this? Is that this lady? No, they have different hair. Definitely not. Okay. It's been so long since we've seen both Ito, like, just in general. It's been a long time since we've seen Ito, like, not in a flashback. But also, it's been a long time since we've seen Ito fight. Like, I almost forgot about that he has the rocket sledgehammer, and that he is someone who enjoys killing. Also, did the French release, like, use these sound effects? I mean, I guess they're sound effects. Like, they're not inherently tied to English in any way, but they feel like English sound effects. All right, well, so that's why he lives on his own in Alita, I have to assume. Man, he's such a nice guy. That's actually incredible. Like, despite being kicked out, he's still, like, you know, they're sticking together. He's still going to take care of her for as much as he can. It's so cool seeing that, like, this was his dream, and then at the very start of Alita, we get to see that his dream's a reality. That's so crazy. Okay, and that's how they met. Or not how they met, obviously, but, like, how they got to sort of living together. I've only learned how to treat human beings. From where I come from, there are no cyborgs. Such a tiny little hint at his, you know, where he truly came from. Come the countryside, sure. Oh no, oh no. No, this isn't okay. This is not okay. Oh, are we doing all 4 seasons for Sweet Nights? That's an interesting way to do it. Like, it's also really cool that we started off in winter, like the most oppressive season, and then I assume we're going to end it in the fall, which is also kind of a depressive season. I mean, she's not in the main series, so I guess, like, something not great could happen. We also know that Galley does die, like the cat, so it's possible. Incidentally, I'm pretty sure this is also read. Like, I've started reading the panels left to right, but I haven't flipped it around yet. It just occurred to me that, yeah, I probably should be reading it like this. The knowledge of the human medicine, the hippopotamus oath, those are marvelous things. I think that is actually incredibly interesting. That, like, someone could be unskilled, like a like a farmer who works on tractors without having a formal education of, like, how to fix a tractor. Like, it's just information passed down. It seems really crazy to think that you could do that with cyborgs, but it makes sense. Like, cyborgs would be designed after a while so that you could fix them with, like, without super sophisticated tools, or, like, you could use those tools, but, like, they'd be very simple to use. Just that's so cool. I know a lot of cyberpunk series do stuff like that, but it didn't really hit me until right now. That, oh yeah, that must be how it works. Like, it's crazy to think of someone who doesn't know how to, like, administer science with a human body, but he knows how to do it with cyborgs. It feels like cyborgs should be always a step above humans. And this makes sense because, again, like, he did come from Tiferes. So, of course, like, in his heart of hearts, he wouldn't feel compassion for cyborgs. Like, he would still be thinking that they're not quite human. Like, they don't quite deserve the same rights. And so, like, you shouldn't have to take care of them as much as you would take care of a real human, quote unquote. Red Kinto, or Dead Kinto. Also, like, because of these labels, I have to assume these were included with the volumes in Japan. So, did they reveal that he was from Tiferes in the original? Maybe, actually. Or, like, I mean, not in the original series, but in the original first volume. I feel like that took a while, because the first volume was just the intro chapter, and then the start of the I forgot his name now. You know, Makaku, that's right, the Makaku arc. So there's no way. But if they don't outright say it, actually, then this is just a very heavy-handed hint. Aw, Carol's so cute. Aw. But yeah, like he was under a lot of stress here, so I can understand why he snapped. And it is important to note that even in, Alita, he is still not a perfect person. He does still snap, and he says things he doesn't mean. It's really cool to see that, yeah, he was like that in the past as well. Like, it's just consistent. By the way, I don't know what this is supposed to be promoting, but these are some interesting posters. So, death with a heart and a skeleton here, and you can see, like, this is kill, fuck, die. This is also, you can see kill and then die up there when my pop-up's not, like, going over it. And then now on sale, I assume. So maybe a band, perhaps? There are plenty of other attractions to see. Also, I feel like 100 credits is way too much. This has to be a ripoff, right? I feel like they've used smaller numbers of credits for things, but then again, I guess they could track to yen, in which case that's not too much. But I feel like they don't, right? I hope their stuff is reliable. It's as if she'd grown without evolving intellectually. Caspar Hauser. That's a reference I did not know about. He was assassinated at the age of 21. Really? That is really strange. Wow, okay, I've never heard of that, but that feels very mysterious. Ah. Aww. Wow, okay, that is really good. Like, again, I kind of wish this divide wasn't there, but because I assume this was scanned... No, this can't be scanned, right? If it was, this was done on a very good scanner, because it feels perfect. Like, the screen tone is barely washed out at all. This divide doesn't look like a divide at all. Like, is this... I mean, it's scanlation, but I assume this must be, like, the digital French release that they then, like, typeset over, right? Either way, fantastic work, guys. Props to Rippers Anime. She put me in checkmate. Okay, so it is sort of a Caspar situation. Like, she's very intelligent. She knows how to do things, but she's still very stunted in her own way. Whatever the era, women had always chased beauty, and even in the junkyard, this stays true. This is technology we didn't really get to see in the main series. Like, we did see some transplants and whatnot, but the idea of creating just, like, a ton of limbs like this... I feel like this guy's going to die, and Destiny Nova is going to take over his lab. And this is a really interesting, it's a cool dichotomy. Like, this is a step backwards for him, because he's not turning people into cyborgs, or he's not servicing cyborgs. He's servicing just the human parts of people with other human parts. I'm not made for cybernetics. I find it so hard to look at this and to remember, like, the very first chapter of Alita, the guy who went through the scrapyard constantly with Alita on his back, just taking bits and pieces, putting her together piece by piece. That is, like, he's come so far, and it's so cool to see him before he came that far. Alright, another winter. So we're not doing the 4 seasons. That's cool. Like, we're still doing seasons, but not, like, just those 4. Like, it's not just 1 year. Another tree. Oh boy, this is not good. Is this where she dies? Oh, is this the guy that was chasing her from the start? Alright, Sweet Night Part 3. And just as things were going so well for him. Okay, Gally may or may not be dead. Oh, poor Gally. By the way, I love French meows. I think that looks so good. Like, that feels way more like a meow than the M-E-O-W meow. I'm so scared for what happened to Carol. Oh, jeez. Okay, zoom in on the background. Let's see what's going on. From here, it looks like a Christmas tree. Like a really big one. It's the doctor. Only one person beside me knows about it. Bring me to the Christmas tree. Okay. So if he doesn't know about it, if he genuinely doesn't know, then why would the robot have come here? Or the cyborg, I mean. I don't think they're done just yet. Kiss me. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. okay, so a rich lady took her, like, ripped her brain out, put her own brain in. Now it's her body. But then why would she keep saying Ito? Is this one of the women we saw before? Oh, is it the woman from the start? That's it. It was the lady from the very starts. Oh my god. And this is why he would start, like, he would start accepting the idea of working on cyborgs. Because working with real human parts and real human beings, it's too cruel. It's too controversial. Oh, okay, and that's why her body was like, why she seemed so much like an infant. It's because her brain didn't develop. Like, she had the brain of an adult, but she hadn't had any experiences. It was just a clone body. Ah, a complete human clone except for the brain. Right, like, it's hard to argue against that. There is basically no difference. The main problem is the brain. But like the rest of the body, even there, I feel like if you clone the brain, then it's a problem. You should not, like, remove the brain. You should not, like, use someone else, like an actual other human being, for your own use. But if it's just the body without the brain, I think that's fine. Even if it's a brain-dead brain, I feel like there's some part of me that feels really icky about that. Yeah, and she has every right to do something like this. Is the love he is feeling nothing for your eyes? Oh. So, why did she choose such a big body, though? That's so bizarre. Tell me you love me. Tell it to me. If you want, you can still call me Carol. That's not him. That's not Carol. Like, he is saying, Carol, I love you, but he's not saying it to her. Wait a minute. So if the machine's still moving, then did they put Carol's body in it? Or brain in it? I'll make ashes of her brain. Oh my god. Oh, and the backfire killed him. That's a problem with having a human body, alright. And that really does suck for her. Like, don't get me wrong. I think morally it's messed up, but if I were this person, like, if I had just said, hey, get me a body, I don't care about the brain or anything. Like, she felt actively malicious towards Carol, which is, I think, the thing that tips it over, but if I were in the situation, if I just had a body cloned for me, I lived a year of my life outside of a body at all, and then I had that body for a moment, and then it got burnt up, like, that would traumatize me. If not, assuming she's not dead, at the very least, that's a cruel fate. Yep, that's Carol, alright. Oh, how cruel. How deeply cruel. I kind of vaguely expected it from wow. I did genuinely expect it on some level because we had so little time with him, and because this is a flashback, or because this is a prequel. Like, all those people who were in the prequel either had to die or they had to be somewhere where they wouldn't encounter the main series. But oh wow. My heart hurts. It really hurts. Alright, and now he's working for Gauss's Cyberdoc. Because yeah, in the end, for even a brief moment, he loved a cyborg. A cyborg saved his life. Like, I feel like he's gotten over that feeling of, you've got to be a human in another human body to be properly human. But what a way to learn a lesson. Gally's still alive too. Alright, so that is the end of the Volume 1 extra story of, what do they call it again? Sweet Nights. Well, what a story that was. It felt very classic Alita, which makes sense because I assume it was written during classic Alita. But it was surprising how much I enjoyed it, like how much I cared for the art style and the like seeing Ito again, especially because even if we see Ito again in Last Order, it's not going to feel right. Like, it won't. Or like, it won't feel right, but it won't feel the same because of the change in art direction, like because it's improved so much and because it has changed. But it felt so good to go back to Alita as I remember it. And this tale of heartbreak and pain, it was so good. It really was. It was also really cool to see, like, just the... How do I put this? It was really, really exciting to see this character that we knew was, like, we knew he had flaws. We already knew he was very three-dimensional. But to see him even more flawed back in the day, and to see where he got, like, how he became the man he was in Chapter 1. That was absolutely incredible. I love cats, and so it's very surprising that seeing Gally the cat alive was a very small reason of why I liked this. Like, all the other characters were just so much better. They really were. This was just an absolutely fantastic experience. I'm probably going to take a short break and then get back to the other extra stories. All right, and I am back. So I read over the motorball rules as we were away, as I got some water. Nothing we didn't really know. I don't remember if they mentioned before that the concept of having a duel, of just like, it's one-on-one, we're just going to drop the ball and just fight now. I don't remember if the volume extras mentioned that was an actual rule, but I do think that is really cool. Especially after reading Ashen Victor, where like that didn't happen at all. Like it was really exciting to see a motorball game played like normally, or as truly, quote unquote, as a motorball game can be, like without very much fighting at all, if any. Also, this is the sad state of scanlation. I do like that he's looking for the French scans as opposed to the Japanese ones, though, because the French ones are pretty solid. They are pretty amazing, and it might also be because the sound effects are translated. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was done by like a third party now. There's no way that that Yukito Kishiro like made these in like in a CG program. It's so very different from everything else he has done. Like even the things that I suspected were CG in Last Order look nothing like this whatsoever. So this has to be like French exclusive. I do really like the contrast here of like the front and the back, though. It looks really good. All right, the Sonic Finger. All right, Kansas Bar, the rape attempts, and then here's the extra story. And then after that, we get the Den arc. Okay, So again, using the Year of Koyomi. Again, it's so cool to see this again. To see, like, basically a panel from the Alita Josh Gun fights. Like, it feels like it. I don't know if it really was one. I don't think so. I feel like this was redrawn, or like it was drawn brand new just for the story. But it's so cool to see them in the original art style. Like, it dates the series in a really positive way. Like, it's very easy to tell when something was from the original and when something was from, like, Last Order. Especially the later parts of Last Order. What in the world? Like, this is certainly a way to drink beer, that's for sure. I did not expect to actually see Gally at all in this. And I guess I'll just call her Gally as I'm reading these, because I don't want to say one name and read another. But yeah, classic Alita with her classic Alita hair. Hello, the sun. She's so flexible. Like, that's so crazy. Even with a cyborg body, it's crazy to see the splits like that. Okay, radiator water. Okay, did she really get sniped? She really does feel cat-like, though. Like, just wandering around on rooftops, then just trying to drink someone else's thing and getting shots at. That's true, actually. It could be someone going after her for the motorball thing, especially considering how we started off this chapter. And that's right, yes, you can't have firearms. I forgot about that. Or it's not that I forgot about it, it's just I didn't think about it recently. But yeah. Okay. It's really cool to see everyone working together too. Like we never had an investigation quite like this in the main series. The Sonic Finger may have come in here. Okay, so it is definitely like So that's not just like an unknown factor. That's something that people know about. Don't know if I trust this guy. The heart of man, its propension for good and evil. Did the series ever reference that? I feel like they did. It feels very familiar. Okay, so yeah, so it's not as simple as just any cyborg can do it. Only the Sonic Finger himself can. 600,000 credits. Okay, yeah. And so because it's technically not a firearm, it's not a crime. Okay, so he used shuriken. So yeah, using like handheld weapons against handheld weapons. Oh, that is crazy. So like that's one heck of a story, that's for sure. Also, I like the idea of using thick borders for flashbacks. I don't think they do that anymore in Last Order, but that's a really cool thing to do. Like, it's very distinct. All right, last will. So is this guy the Sonic Finger? I mean, I assume that's what she thinks at the very least. Yep, this is the Sonic Finger, all right. But why is he eating them? Like, it can't be that he's shooting them out, right? I thought the entire point was that it had to be a flick. Okay, never mind. They come out of his palms. That's really cool. What a cool ability in general. Like, I've seen a bunch of series that have had characters do that just as a show of strength, but it's rare to see someone do that as their actual, like, fighting ability. All right, only that instant when I'm completely consumed. If I had to relate this to anything, I guess I would have to relate it to the sort of like pre-Den arcs of Alita, where she was trying to lose herself in fighting. Like, she was just trying to delve further and further into Panzerkunst. Like, in the same way, he's trying to delve further and further into his mastery of the Sonic Finger. That's true, yeah. Like, he's definitely Makaku tier in terms of pure danger, in terms of being able to kill you at a distance as opposed to, you know, brute force. What a simple tactic. I mean, it works for sure, but dang. What a very simple way to use what you already have. Like, it's so obvious. Oh no, oh no. All right, Tank Man's down. Oh my god, with his toes? With his toes. It's so cool to see everyone fighting together as a team. Or, like, you know, one-on-one, but still. Like, they're all working together. This is so cool. Oh, wow. Especially after, in case you haven't, you should be reading this in order. Like, you should be watching my reactions in order, but just in case you jumped right to this one, I just saw, like, the introduction of Zeka in Last Order. And his idea of, like, you know, moving at supersonic speed while standing still is, like, it's not similar to this, but it brings up some, like, comparisons. Like, this idea of someone who is moving at supersonic speed and who can, like, disassemble someone at supersonic speed. Like, it's not just shooting ball bearings. There's some weird synchronicity there. It makes me happy that I was alerted to these stories, like, right now, as opposed to like, in the future. All right, it's time for Gally to come in and do this herself. Is she going to, like, fill it with her vibrations, perhaps? Because I can't imagine she can just do it. She can beat him at his. Maybe. Never mind. Those ball bearings are definitely hitting each other. Like, is she that good? Is she actually his equal when it comes to throwing balls? I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the Panzerkunst, like, vibration technique, though. Which is very simple to the Sonic disassembly technique, to be fair. Actually, is it the other way around? Like, did she learn how to do that because she fought him? All right, gotta read it then. Definitely gotta read it. I'm pretty sure I've already read this, actually. So never mind. I guess I'm not going to, even though the scanlator put so much time and effort into doing it. Yeah, this is definitely something I remember. All right. That was a good story. It wasn't quite as good as Ito's story, but it was pretty good in its own way. And I do think, yeah, these must be canon then. Because, like, her Sonic disassembly technique is basically the same thing. It's just she has a German name for it. All right, so let's finish this up with whatever this is. Number 50, okay. Did we see him? Like, 100 is in Last Order, obviously. 10 is... I always assumed that 10 got remodeled into 100. So, who is 50? Like, I assume this is the same person, right? Like, huh. Was this at a Motorball Arena? Oh no, that's not water. Oh wow, that's a really cool shot. Like, in general, I think sand looks really, really cool in manga. Ooh, okay, 50's gone rogue. Wait, is this Alita then? Oh, I think it is. Yeah, because this is the same cloak she was wearing on the cover. Like, this is her, like, yeah, this is what she used to wear when she was in the desert as part of the Toon series. Although, actually, this could be one of the other Toons. I assume it's Alita, though. It's gotta be, right? Also, it just occurred to me what he's doing. He's going to get water, right? That's why. I'm a dummy. I'm an absolute dummy. Ah, that's so much more tragic now that I fully get it. He went that far just to get to the ocean, where the water is salt water, so he wouldn't have been able to drink it anyways. All right. Oh, she can't do it though, right? The kids are all over him. Like, even if she doesn't hit them, like, the explosion's gonna kill them, right? I don't like this as much. I really don't like it when screen tone is, like, put over the sky, or over things that aren't properly screen toned. Like, it always looks real messy to me. But, like, the silhouette of number 50 against the sea, that looks real good to me. G1, mission complete. Okay, yeah, so that is Alita as we know her. Because she was AR1, right? But in this version, she would have been GR1, or I guess just G1. Alright, surprisingly, I like that a lot. Like, it was very short, but I think the shortness is what added to why it was so good. And, like, the lack of dialogue, it was fantastic. If I had to rank all of these, I would say Ashen Victor, then Ito's story, Silent Nights, or Sweet Nights, then, then Bashaku Ando, then this, and then I would put Volume 3 at the very bottom. Not that it wasn't good, it just, like, it didn't do anything for me. If I was to include the Guncyclopedia, then that would absolutely be at the very bottom, because it wasn't translated, and also, like, it didn't interest me that much. I assume a lot of it must have been, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, or, like, an interview with Kishiro, but, like, as it was, it didn't interest me very much. Alright, so, that was quite a lot of content. This is probably at least an hour long, if not longer. Thank you guys so much for reading along with me. It was real fun to read all of this stuff. I will be reading more Last Order, hopefully a lot faster than I was before, because I'm going to try and not binge it, but I'm stuck between wanting to binge it and knowing that if I do, I won't be able to enjoy all those days and nights of me thinking late at night about the last volume and what it can entail. It's a struggle, but I'm really enjoying the series, and this was a nice way to take a break while still reading Alita. Alright, thank you guys so much. Bye for now. Nya nya.